The professional learning experience for a teacher at times is very disappointing. When we think about professional learning in the education field, we tend to think about this being a very hot topic. Well, the first off is that we ask the question, why another professional development? Why do we keep finding ourselves in these situations that we as teachers already know? We find frustration. A lot of teachers and educators find frustration in the professional development that is given to us at the beginning and throughout the entire year. We see it as another thing to do. This could have been an email, and the relevancy is not there. So what do we need to start thinking about? I pose the 3 R's. Rethinking about professional development. Reinventing how professional development is done in each school or district. And reviving the process to give it a fresh look. So, what does this rethinking actually look like? We're going to go ahead and take a look at the need. The 5 principles of effective professional learning are essential to providing professional development for all teachers. So let's look at a brief overview of what these 5 rules are. The first one is duration. The second, support. 3, exposure. 4, modeling. And 5, being specific. So let's go ahead and dive in those a little bit further. And let's look at the principles at a closer look. When it comes to duration, we need to ask the question of, is it important? Is the professional learning that we are experiencing important to us? Training needs to be ongoing. It should not be just one day and then we're done. It needs to be consistently implemented throughout the entire year or an extensive time period. And then we need to ask the question, do teachers actually have enough time for this implementation? How will this happen? That leads us to our next point, support. When it comes to support, we need to think about teachers. Are teachers supported through this implementation? Are there coaches that can help us along the way? Is administration going to help us when a problem arises? How are those challenges going to be dealt with? These are all questions that need to be answered when we're giving this professional development. If we can support our teachers in doing so, then the professional development has a great chance of success. So let's look at the exposure. When it comes to professional learning, it needs to be engaging, not just another training, not just a day where we sit and just take in the information. It needs to be something that teachers are not tempted to look at their computer screens because it's not engaging. It needs to provide a hands-on learning. Is there something that we can do to take away so we can implement right away? We also need to think about, is it relatable learning? Is it something that's going to actually tie in to our classrooms and to our classroom culture? And finally, a good way to have exposure is through role play. Think about it. If we can role play a scenario, we as teachers or just learners can actually get a better grasp of what we are to implement in our profession. Second to last thing we're going to look at is the modeling. Is it explicit teaching by modeling? Are we explicitly teaching what needs to be done? Not just an overview of the whole professional learning, but how is it done? Give me an example. We need to observe models that are effective. This can be done through role play. This can be done through video, and even observing other teachers that may have already implemented this professional learning in their classrooms or profession. Seeing, listening, and doing. We need to be doing this with our professional learning. The last point and the last principle is the content. It's not generic, it's very specific content. How does it look with different grade levels? I, as a teacher, or you as a teacher, want to make sure that what we're learning is sufficient enough for our grade, or for the upper grades as well. And this cannot be a one-size-fits-all. It will not cut it. We need to think about how can we implement it into our profession. So as we looked at the 5 principles, we need to think about the expectations that are set. Teachers, if implemented correctly, using those 5 principles, feel that teachers are very taught well. They can be engaged with the 5 principles. They will find the professional learning purposeful. They will feel appreciated in the fact that we're learning something that is sufficient enough and our time is well respected. Quality over quantity. We do not want to sit all day or a multitude of days, but we want quality instruction, quality professional learning, and easy implementation as much as possible. Will that support be there? Will the duration be an extensive one? If we implement those 5 principles, these are some good points that teachers can achieve with great professional learning. So, as we looked at the expectations, we need to think about what is at the end. In the end, teachers are here to learn. We are here to instruct students. But if we as teachers do not receive the same instruction that we give to our students, how is it that we can be successful teachers? We need to be set up on the right track so that the professional learning does not look like a waste of our time.